Hare Krishna, welcome all devotees for our Saturday Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Srimad Bhagavatam session. We are so fortunate to have His Grace Udarakirti Chaitanya Prabhu with us today. Everybody knows Prabhuji in Kanya Desh. He is from South Vrindavan Temple in Kerala. He was in Balram Desh for many years, and he was the president, and he was serving there with all the devotees. Now, presently, Prabhuji is in South Vrindavan, and he is the president there also, and he is doing a lot of activities. So, we are so fortunate to have Prabhuji with us today. On behalf of all the assembled devotees, we will welcome Prabhuji to this session by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Udarakirti Chaitanya Prabhu, you can take over now.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Manifestation Prabhu, for giving this chance. Umachana Demirandasya, Jana and Vijana, Chachuran Milatam Yana Tasma, Shri Gurave Nama. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Pasai Bodhile, Srimad Jabadaga Swami Dinamini. Namacharya Padaya Nityak Bapadayane, Gauragada Damadaya Nagar Gramatarane. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Pasai Bodhile, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamini. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharane, Nirvisheshunyavadi. Pachatya Deshtarine, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhantyananda Syadveda Gadadara Seva Sadi Gaur Bhaktavanda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes, Roji.
Okay. So, today what Prabhu has assigned me is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, text number 22. The verse is Barkhayite te nayane naranam lingani vishnorna nirikshadoye pado nranam tau drumajanma bhajo kshetrani na anuvrajato hareyo. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of the personality of Godhead Vishnu, his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks. So I think we straight away go with the discussions to save time. Or I have to read how it is. Generally, you take Manibhushan Babu, read the purport.
We used to read the purport, but no problem, Prabhuji. You already read means you can proceed, Prabhuji. We will go.
Okay, I just went through the purport, so because it's a long purport, so probably we can straight away go with the discussions.
Sure.
So my discussion will be exactly purport only, so nothing more, nothing much less. So here it says Barhayate. Barhayate means the peacock feather. So the eyes of those people, Nayane means eyes, Naranam means people, eyes. Such people's eyes are like peacock feather. What kind of people? So you can close this purport, translation, everything. Okay. So Barhai te nayane naranam Lingani. So what kind of people's eyes? So it says Lingani Vishnu. Lingani Vishnu means the deity of Vishnu or Krishna. Na nirikshato. So those who don't see the beautiful form of the Lord, so their eyes are like peacock feather. So peacock feather also look like eyes, but it doesn't have the power to see. So that is about the eyes. Then it is talking about the legs. Pado Nrinam. Such people's legs. Druma Janma Bhajo. Druma means tree. So their legs are like the trunks of a tree. So what kind of legs? Kshetra ni nanu vrajado hariryo. So those who do not visit the holy places, their legs are like the trunks of the tree. So two things, the eyes are like the peacock feather if you don't see the beautiful form of the Lord, and the legs are like the trunk of the tree if you don't visit the holy place of the Lord. So we heard in the Shastra that Ahar and Dira Bhayamaitanam Cha Samanamedat Pashubi Naranam Dharmo Bitesham Adhigo Vishesho Dharmena Hina Pashubi Naranam. That means the Ahara, eating, sleeping, mating, defending is common for the human beings and the animals. So what is so special for the human beings are dharma. So if we do not follow dharma, then we are just like animals only, because animals do eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and we are also doing the same thing. So then there is no difference. So we may be eating in a very nice plate, as Prabhupada explains in some lectures, and the dog eat in the street, and we sleep on nice bed, and the dog sleep in the street, and dog is attracted to the opposite sex. We are also doing the same thing. So there is no much difference, if we do not follow the dharma. So following the dharma means practicing that dharma. This means engaging our senses in the service of the Lord. That is the dharma of the human being. So senses means our working senses, jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, knowledge acquiring senses, the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and the 5 working senses. So all are to be engaged in the service of the Lord. And if not, we are just like the dead body, because when the purpose of the human form of life is not met, then it's dead body. So if just like what we are supposed to see we don't see, then it's blind eyes. There is no purpose of having eyes. So I think the previous few verses were discussing on similar things. The slogan number 7, the last few verses are very important and very nice verses. Like in the 17, verse number 17 was talking about Ayur Haridivai Pamsam Udyanastam Chayanasau Tasyate Yachno Nidam Uttama Sloka Varte. So those who are not engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, their every day is cut by one sunrise and sunset, but it does not happen to those people who engage in the service of the Lord. Sometimes we may be surprising how it can be so, because whether we are chanting or engage in the service of the Lord, we are also getting old, and one day we have to die. Then what this discussion is all about? So someone must have taken that verse. But even in this body, we are engaged in when we are engaged in the service of the Lord. Once we leave the body, also we are engaged in the service of the Lord. That means we are engaged in our eternal service, and there is no change. So the sunrise and sunset doesn't do anything with such a devotee. So actually this part of Srimad Bhagavatam is glorifying devotional service, after discussing about the universal form of the Lord, which was there in the first chapter, and in the second chapter it was discussing about Paramatma. So pure devotional service is serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is, we are connected to that Bhagavan form of the Lord. As we know that 3 levels of realization, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So pure devotional service is connected to Bhagavan. So in this way, this Ayur Haradi, then Taravo Kemna Jivandi, the trees are living, and if the human beings are also living and they don't do their duties, they are just like trees. Bastra, so Kimna, I just missed that verse. So it is just like, if we may say that no, the tree is not breathing, we are breathing. Oh, the bellow of the blacksmith also is breathing. There is nothing special about it. So a lot of comparisons are there in the last few verses. Then Savit, Varaha, that verse is there, where those who glorify the people who are not connected to the Lord, they are just like animals. That was there in the verse number 19. Then in 20, it was talking about the futility of the years if we do not use it in the service of the Lord. Just like if we do not hear the glories of the Lord, then our ears are like snake holes. Snake hole means poison. We hear a lot of grame kada and filled our ears with poison. Then also it was talking about if we do not use our tongue in the service of the Lord, then it is like frog's tongue. We may be talking so much, just like Shankaracharya says, Samprapte sannihide kale nahi nahi rakshati dukranch karane. We keep on talking and talking and talking. So the frogs talk, invite the snakes. That the snake come and swallow. Similarly, we talk too much, and ultimately the mrityu comes. So that is why Shankaracharya says, nahi nahi rakshati dukranch karane. All our this big talks are not going to help us at the final testing time. So all these are explained in this part of Srimad Bhagavatam. If we do not know, if we do not do proper devotional service, it's an unfortunate situation, having taken the human form of life. That is what is being explained here. So ultimately, we have to utilize all our senses, as mentioned before, in the service of the Lord, just like Ambarish Maharaj. So he was walking towards the kshetra, and he smells the tulsi leaves. All those explanations are there in the Ambarish Maharaj narrations in Srimad Bhagavatam, how he engaged all his senses in the service of the Lord. So going through the purport, first, Srila Prabhupada is very wonderfully, Prabhupada always segment his purport. So in this purport, first Srila Prabhupada is explaining about the duty of a householder. She says, especially for the householder devotees, the path of deity worship is strongly recommended. So for the householders, deity worship is very strongly recommended. This morning also I was hearing Srila Prabhupada's lecture. So he was giving the lecture to Western devotees. So he says, you all guys need to be trained properly to do deity worship, but the Indians are born with that culture. They don't need special training. They knows what is deity worship. So we are born with that fortune. Then he says, as far as possible, every householder, by the direction of the spiritual master. So this is one thing which is very important. where Prabhupada is mentioning that every householder is supposed to have a spiritual master, who is a bona fide spiritual master. Bona fide means someone who has come in the line of disciplic succession. And he says, so a householder need to have a spiritual master, and he should engage in the deity worship, and he can install deity either at home, or if he's staying very close to the temple, he can engage in the worship of the deity in the temple. Then he is talking about the different forms of the Lord, Radha Krishna, Lakshmi Narayan, Sitaram, and any other forms like Narsimha, Varaha, Gaura Nityai, Matsya, Kurma, Salagram, Shila, and many other forms of Vishnu. So Narayana, Damodara, there are many. And one's family should worship strictly. So this is what it is. Deity worship means something serious. So we cannot do on off, then it becomes offensive. Now we need to have a regular practice of deity worship, strictly following the directions and regulations of Archana Vidhi. So we have to follow the proper directions given by the spiritual master in worshipping the deity. So it says that the kind of worship, if you do without following the shastras, then it says that it is simply a disturbance. So following the vidhis are very important. So any member of the family who is above 12 years of age, so Prabhupada is giving very wonderful instructions. So deity worship is recommended. That was one. Then one should have a spiritual master. Then one should follow strictly the rules and regulations. Now he says, talking about the children, says any member of the family who is above 12 years of age should be initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. So above 12 years, go for initiation. So you all must be knowing that the earlier our Tapan Prabhu's daughters, I met one time in Mayapur, and I think those children, the girls, are already Bhakti Shastris, at a very young age. So most of us are having children, they are all very bright, so they can go for systematic study of the Shastras. And all the members of the household should be engaged in daily service of the Lord, beginning from morning 4 until 10 p.m. So Prabhupada has given the complete package that start at 4 a.m. till 10 p.m. That means he specify how many hours of sleep. That means 10 to 4 is 6 hours. So 6 hours sleep, that's nice. And then engage in the service of the Lord. So it's very, very important to get up very early in the morning. So we cannot be a very nice devotee if we practice like getting up at 8 o'clock. Okay, start with like that, but we need to have that aim to get up early in the morning. So this is one of the final instruction of Srila Prabhupada, where he said that attend Mangalarati is very important. So, and he says in some lecture that if we attend Mangalarati, then our whole day become Mangal, very auspicious. So we start with a very good auspicious mood if we attend Mangalarati. And then if we sleep, so many times we sleep because we watch television late night. So then we cannot get up in the morning. So we need to have a proper system in our daily life. So it says performing Mangalarati, Archana, Puja, Kirtana, Shingara, Bhoga, Sandhyarati, then all this, he has written Patha, I don't know what is that patha. Shayanarati. So Shayanarati means putting the deities to rest. So all these are there in the. With this, it is very nice. Someone can get a copy of this simplified uh, few pages, how to put the deity to rest and all. It's very interesting. Then we are living with the deity. You know, we are waking up the deity. Then we are giving the deities the bhoga. Then we are putting the deities to rest. We are giving them abhishek. It's as good as, not as good as, they are part of our family. So this is the whole package given by Srila Prabhupada. Then engagement in such worship of the deity under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. So we already said, it's we should act under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. So concocted ideas sometimes take us away from proper spiritual path. Sometimes these kind of questions are being asked by some devotees who say that whatever thought no, I am getting is influenced by the Lord, so He is responsible for the thought. So whatever I am acting, so that is influenced by the Lord, so He is responsible. So these are the result of not properly following the direction of the Shastra or the bona fide spiritual master. Then sometimes we hear this kind of arguments. So if we listen to these arguments, then we have nothing to do, just sit. Then I just asked someone, so just a child in the say first standard, the teacher would say 1 + 1 is equal to 2, and the child say no, 1 + 1 is equal to 3. Who told you? You say so. God said in my mind, this is, there is something really wrong about it. So our thoughts, it doesn't have much value if it is not connected to sadhu, shastra and guru. So whether an instruction in our mind is given by the supreme lord, or sometimes people ask whether how can we understand whether the direction given within the mind is whether lord has given or it's my concoction. So if it's Lord is given, then we have to compare it with Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. If it is in line with that, yes, it's from the Lord. One time, someone told Prabhupada, something went wrong, and then the devotee, particular devotee, went and told Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, it is God's wish, Krishna's wish. Then Prabhupada said, it is not Krishna's wish, it is your foolishness. So like that. Now our willfully we should rather engage in following the authorities. Engagement in such worship of the deity under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master will greatly help the householders to purify their very existence. So once we engage in such processes, it purify our existence. So we know that the 9 steps up to prema, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. So these are all part of the Bhajana Kriya. So when we do Bhajana Kriya, parallelly something goes that is called Anartha Nivarti. So when we do meaningful act, that is when we do Artha Pravarti, then there is Anartha Nivarti. So all our anarthas one by one will go. Then the seed of the bhakti will fructify, and the leaves of nice qualities will come. So this is called purifying our existence and make rapid progress in spiritual knowledge. So once we engage in the worship and following the authorities, then Prabhupada says, then there is rapid progress. So as we mentioned just now, if our enthusiasm is on and off, yes, we get something, but may not to be to the required extent. So to keep our enthusiasm intact, we need to be reasonably focused. Anything we want to achieve, even in material things in our life, then we need to be focused. Then what to speak of the ultimate goal of life? So can we get it without focus? No, unfortunately not. So we cannot go for I'll focus here, I'll focus there, I'll focus everywhere. I will enjoy, I will have bhakti also, material enjoyments. And yes, we get some progress, but we can have much better progress by focus. Utsahat, Nichayat, Dhairyat, the verse in the Upadeshamrita. So then Prabhupada, so that was Prabhupada was talking about the duty of householder. Now he is talking about what is required is a combination of theoretical and practical knowledge. So that is what he is focusing on the next part. So when we talk about theoretical knowledge, then there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bahu Shastre Bahu Vakya Chitte Brahmahaya. Bahu Shastra Bahu Vakya Chitte Brahmahaya. So if you go behind so many shastras, so many different kind of lectures, then Chitte Brahma, we become bewildered. Satya sadhana shreshta nahaya nichaya. Satya sadhana is what we are doing. So satya of sadhana is actually prema. So satya sadhana shreshta nahaya nichaya. So we cannot reach prema bhakti if we go behind Bahu Shastra, so many different different kind of philosophies, and Bahu Vakya. So today we are hearing lecture from some ISKCON devotee, and then tomorrow we are hearing some lecture from the Mayavada philosophy, and then some people go around and give lectures on Upanishads, and we do not know whether it is we are not expert in Upanishads. We are just trying to understand what Prabhupada said. So and sometimes even the Bhagavatam classes are impersonal explanations. One time I heard in a Bhagavatam lecture by a very renowned person. So I listened for probably around 2 hours, and the speaker, even in that 2 hours, not even once uttered the name of Krishna. He was keep on talking Parabrahman, Parabrahman, Parabrahman. It is like they are purposefully hiding that name. So we never say Parabrahman has stolen Makan. We never say Parabrahman is catching hold of Mother Yashoda's hand and walking. No, we never say that. We say Krishna, little Krishna. What is your problem? If you say Krishna holding the hand of Mother Yashoda, I was really rather dissatisfied with that lecture. And she's very renowned. And the hall was full, and people were enthusiastically listening. So this is how it is. Bahu Vake, Bahu Shastre Chitte Brahmahaya. So, and also in some lecture, Prabhupada said that knowledge without practice is something like dry speculation. No practice. No, we are reading so much. So what? You're not putting anything into practice. It's all kind of speculations and trying to understand the way you want. Then practice without any knowledge is kind of fanaticism. So both are very important. Knowledge and practice should go hand in hand. Then it's a very balanced path. So Prabhupada is explaining here in this purport, simple theoretical book knowledge is not sufficient for a neophyte devotee. Book knowledge is theoretical, whereas the archana process is practical. So book knowledge theoretical, then archana, worshipping the deity, is practical. Spiritual knowledge must be developed by a combination of theoretical and practical knowledge. So there should be realization. Like, there is a difference between Jana and Vijana. Jnana means we read sugar is sweet, and Vijnana means we put sugar into our mouth. So otherwise we read, sugar is sweet, it is crystal, it is pure white in color, but never put in the mouth, then we don't understand it. So jnana just by itself is like that. So when we practice, then there is vijnana. So that's why in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is talk much about vijnana. So that's why it's guhya. Guhya means it's secret. So how it is secret? No practice, no understanding. So Prabhupada says here, knowledge and practice. Spiritual knowledge must be developed by a combination of theoretical and practical knowledge. And that is the guaranteed way of attainment of spiritual perfection. So he says that's the guaranteed path. Knowledge and practice, guaranteed path. So one should take up this words of Srila Prabhupada very seriously. The training of devotional service for a neophyte devotee completely depend on the expert spiritual master. So one should be guided by an expert spiritual master who knows. So a spiritual master knows how to engage his disciple into various service. Just like, sometimes I've seen when the spiritual master comes, some devotees, so they may not be doing much service generally. So when the spiritual master is in station, they are the first one to be there, and they are the first one who want to see the spiritual master personally. We have come across this kind of experiences. So one time, one devotee went and asked the spiritual master, Guru Maharaj, please tell me how I can serve you. What responsibility you would like to give it to me? So spiritual master is quiet. He is not telling anything. So first of all, we have lot of opportunities to serve. There is temple, there is congregation, you can preach, you can support the leaders. So many things can be done. So you don't do any of these things. Then when the spiritual master comes, you go and ask the spiritual master can just see through you. So spiritual master will not say anything. And that means if spiritual master gives some instruction, you are not going to do it. Because whatever he has already said, you are not doing. Now you are going and ask anything, specific instructions for me. Then the secretary is very intelligent. He knows how to handle the situation. Then he asks, what you are doing now? Spiritual master is quiet. The secretary asks, what you are doing now? So sometimes I am giving some guidance to children. Okay, continue to do that. So not the spiritual master, but the secretary said, okay, you may please go and continue to do that. So the neophyte means they should be guided by an expert spiritual master, and the devotee should take it seriously. That means, whatever spiritual master already said while taking initiation, and try to follow it seriously. Don't go behind the spiritual master and ask more and more. Okay, when you become qualified, he may, or when he see that this particular devotee can do something, then he will tell you. Or one need to be really, really qualified to ask that question. So, must deliver the disciple from the clutch. So, well, expert spiritual who knows how to lead his disciple to make gradual progress towards the path home back to Godhead. One should not become a pseudo spiritual master as a matter of business to meet one's family expenditures. One must, and so here it says there are spiritual masters, kind of spiritual masters. You do anything and everything. So once in a year, you come and meet me, give some dakshina, and that's enough. So this is something like, again, Shankaracharya say, Udarakirti Bhagavata Sevaya. Just to fill your stomach, you have put on some saffron cloth and collecting money from the people. One must be an expert spiritual to deliver the disciple from the clutches of impending death. So one need to be an expert spiritual master to take the disciple out of the cycle of birth and death. So that is the responsibility of the spiritual master. So it says that sometimes the spiritual master has to come back again into this material world to deliver the his disciple. So that's the reason why we can see that some sannyasis are very strict. Sometimes they don't give initiation, and some give only to 2 or 3 people. So they have their own mood to deliver the disciple from the. So this is the responsibility of the spiritual master, and it's Shastra also says sometimes the spiritual master has sent another sadhu to become his disciple, spiritual master, and deliver him. So many things the spiritual master has to see. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has defined the bona fide qualities of spiritual master, and one of the words in that description reads. So this is from our Mangalari Sri Sri Guru Ashtaga. Prabhupada quotes here: Sri Vigraharadhana Nityanana Shringara Tanmandira Madhyanadishu Yuktasya Bhaktasya Niyunjatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. So Sri Vigraharadhana Nitya. So Nitya means every day. Shringara means decorating the deity. Mandira Marjanadishu, cleaning the temple. Yuktasya Bhaktasya. So Yuktasya means the spiritual master engage the disciple into such engagement. So I worship that spiritual master. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. So Prabhupada further says, Sri Vigraha is Archa. Archa Vigraha. Archa Vigraha means installed deity. Or, so there's a difference between, people sometimes say that, we all do idol worship. We don't do idol worship. So idol is, in the, we can see in shops, there are so many idols. So they are called idols. But once we install, it becomes deity. So we do deity worship. So there are process to give life to such Archa Vigraha. And then we worship. So Sri Vigraha is Archa, or suitable, worshipable form of the Lord. And the disciple should be engaged in worshipping the deity regularly. So such Archa Vigraha, the disciple should engage in worshipping by Sringara. Sringara means decorating, then dressing, also Mandira Marjana, cleansing the temple. So cleansing the temple is Chedo Darpana Marjanam, cleansing the heart, Bhavamaha, what is that? Chedo Darpana Marjanam, Bhavamaha, Davakni,
Nirmarjan.
Nirmarjanam, Davakni Nirmarjanam. Yeah. So the forest fire is extinguished. Every day we are reciting. This is Kali Yuga. We forget. Every day morning we are reciting the whole Shishashtaka prayers in the temple. But still, So there are, you know, they read it very wonderfully. The first verse is very nice. Now, there are 7 excellences in that first verse. Please read. It's very nice. Chedo darpana marjanam, bhava maha davakni nirvapanam, 2 Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vidaranam, 3 Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vidaranam, Vidyavadhu Jivanam, 4. Then what is that? Anandambudhi Vardhanam, 5. Pradipadam Purnamrda Swadanam, 6. Sarvatma Sanapanam, 7. So there are 7 excellences in this verse. So when you have time, please see what are those 7 excellences. It is very nice. So Chedo Darpana Marjanam, cleaning the temple means cleansing the heart. So the spiritual master teaches the neophyte devotee all this kindly and personally, and personally to help him gradually in the realization of the transcendental name, quality, form of the Lord. So, so these are all gradual development in our spiritual progress. Just like, you know, when in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, also there is gradual progress. Just like name quality here, Nama Smarana, Rupa Smarana, and Leela Smarana, all these things are there. So then now, so we discuss about the duty of the householder. Then we discuss about combination of theoretical and practical knowledge, and we also discussed about the importance of guidance of the spiritual master. Now Prabhupada is talking about the importance of a higher taste, which will save us from material attractions, which Prabhupada used the term hellish attractions. So we need to develop higher taste. So Prabhupada says here, only attention engaged in the service of the Lord, especially in dressing and decorating the temple, accompanied by kirtana and spiritual instruction from scriptures, can save the common man from the hellish cinema attraction and rubbish sex songs broadcast everywhere by radios. So, in today's world, as we simply go out of our home, then there are hundreds and thousands of different attractions. Once one of my god brother was working in the airport. So airport, all kind of peoples are there. You know, someone with reasonably, you know, nicely dressed, someone with hardly any dress. So then he was telling me, Prabhu, it is very difficult to keep the consciousness in the airport. So I just want to come out of this airport project. So he was just telling, you know, how we are dragged by so many attractions outside. So that's the reason why in the Bhagavad Gita it says, you know, how we should act like, you know, tortoise. All our indriyas are looking outward. So when there is an enemy, take it inwards. Think about some words. Just like it takes a lot of time. Just like one example, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's one disciple fall for something wrong with some Mataji, and his other disciple chase him out, and ultimately Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati demanded that he should be brought back. So with some kind of, I don't know, some of you may be knowing the story, now we don't have time. So he was expert in watch repair. They, you know, find out where he was doing all these kind of things, and ultimately he was brought back. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur asked this person, so he was shivering and crying in front of the spiritual master. You know, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is very, very grave, lion guru. So he asked one question, my dear disciple, I have only one question to ask you. When you were falling for your senses, why you did not chant the holy name? So that means when we fall for the senses, why you did not take your senses inwards? This is what he's asking. So when we have such higher taste, then we don't go for lower taste. So that's what Prabhupada says, in the US, Prabhupada's time, now it is maybe more drug addictions. That was a big problem in the society, and the government was spending millions and millions of dollars. So they all only announce that don't take drugs, don't take drugs. And Prabhupada called the drug addicts, come here, honor prasadam, and then dance and sing. So then many of them understood, oh, this is a better addiction. Having a nice prasadam, sing and dance. So they stopped the drugs and having prasadam, sing and dance. So Prabhupada was telling, this government should give all these millions of dollars to us. Now we can change all these drug addicts to wonderful devotees. They are the assets of the society. So here it's, so when we have the higher taste, then we will not have the lower taste. So Prabhupada says, hellish cinema attractions, rubbish sex songs, broadcast everywhere by radios. If one is unable to maintain a temple at home, he should go to, so this is for the higher taste, he should go to another temple where all the above performances are regularly executed. So all these things are executed in the temple. So Prabhupada made, you must have read sometimes the 7 purpose of ISKCON. So Prabhupada made all the temples for mainly, this 5 main angas of bhakti, which is available in all the temples. Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana, Bhagavata Sevaya, Madhura Vasa, Shri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevana. Sagala Sadhana Shreshta, Ei Pancha Anga. Krishna Prema Janmaya, Ei Panchera Alpa Sangha. If we have association with these 5 angas of devotional service, little, then ultimately we will get Krishna Prema. That's what the Shastra says. So we need to regularly, if we don't have a temple at home, then regularly visit the temple. Visiting the temple of a devotee and looking at the profusely decorated forms of the Lord, well dressed in a well decorated, sanctified temple. So well dressed, well decorated, and sanctified temple naturally infuse the mundane mind with spiritual inspiration. So anyone come to the temple, then immediately, any sane man, he will have a change of heart. So depend on how far the heart is cleansed, to that extent attraction will be there. Then Prabhupada is talking about importance of visiting holy places. So he says holy places one should visit, but not for sightseeing. That's what he says here. People should visit holy places like Vrindavana, where such temples and worship of the deity are specifically maintained. So Vrindavana, as Prabhupada is telling, Vrindavana is very special. So Vrajavasis are very special. So when we go to Vrindavana, we can associate with those temple and the Vrajavasis. So in the Bhakti Rasama Sindhu, 2 type of sadhana bhakti, Vaidya sadhana and Raganuga sadhana. When it comes to Raganuga sadhana, Anuga means following. So one should follow the Vrajavasis mood to become a Raganuga Bhakta. So anyway, going to Vrinda, holy places like Vrindavana, is very important. So then Prabhupada says, formerly all rich men, like kings and rich merchants, constructed such temples under the direction of expert devotees of the Lord, like the 6 Goswamis, and it is the duty of the common man to take advantage of this temple. So Prabhupada says that formerly all aristocratic people, rich people, they construct temple. So I was listening one lecture where Prabhupada was telling the I believe about Sinkania. So they have family temple, there is priest, and the head of the family is a lady, and she instructed all her business men, children, that everyone, however busy you are, every day you should go and have darshan of the Lord. Then if they don't go, then they will be fined. There is fine for them. So Prabhupada was telling the headman will be fined $10, and the next one will be $5. So the pujari will be there at their doorstep with the bill. You have not attended the temple, so you need to pay. So that was a custom. Commandment. So following holy place of pilgrimage by following the footstep of great devotees. Anuvraja Prabhupada mentioned here. So this Anu, the word Anu means following. What was that definition of Uttama Bhakti? Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyana Vridam Anukulena Krishna. Then comes Anushilanam Bhakti Rutam. So Rupa Goswami did not say that Shilanam Bhakti Rutam. He says Anushilanam Bhakti. Shilana means what I am thinking right, I am doing. That is not Uttama. So Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama, following the footstep of previous acharyas or whatever guidance they have given. So one has to follow. So in whole Bhakti principle, following is very, very important. So sometimes we used to say that it is very, very important for personally for us to develop the quality of following. Just like in like in Middle East, in everywhere, there are leaders. So sometimes they may have to give some directions. We may not understand. Then we think, I don't follow. I don't want to follow what he says. So first, try to follow. Then I clarify. So when we do that, we learn something called following. That's very important. Then you can clarify. I feel there is something to be clarified. Anyway, what you said, I may do that, but this is the way that following is very important. Very, very important. That is personally for us. But if we take a kind of a rebellious attitude, then we lose. Mahaprabhu's mission will go on. So if we do not develop the, so why I said this, many in many cases the devotees' progress is checked by this basic problem. No, we are all like that. Basically, we are all kind of rebels. Because of our rebellious attitude, only we came to this material world. So we need not continue. We need not stick so much to that rebellious attitude. We need to try to come out little by little from that. So these are the part when the authority says, follow, because they may be having some ideas in their brain, which is very important, which people like us may not understand easily. So then we can go and ask, clarifications rather than say simply no to it, or rather simply not to bother about it. it doesn't mean that every leader is doing everything right. I don't mean that, but this part is always there. So one should not visit all these sanctified pilgrimage places and temples with sightseeing in mind. So only a few more minutes. I think it's 1 o'clock here in Kerala. So 1 or 2 hours behind in Kuwait. Give me 3 minutes more. It's finished. One should not visit all these time pilgrimage places and temple with sightseeing in mind, but one must go to such temples and sanctified places immortalized by the transcendental pastime of the Lord. So all these places are sanctified by the pastime of the Lord. Then the last part is importance of following. So that's what we were discussing. So Prabhupada is telling this is called anuvrija. Anu means to follow. It is therefore best to follow the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master. So even in visiting temples and the holy place of pilgrimage, one who does not move in the ways in that way is as good as a standing tree condemned by the Lord for not to move. So we have legs, so we should go to the place of pilgrimage. Otherwise, we are just like trees. The moving tendency of the human being is misused by visiting places for sightseeing. The best purpose of such traveling tendencies could be fulfilled by visiting holy places. Instead of sightseeing, visit holy places established by great acharyas, and thereby not being misled by the atheistic propaganda of money-making men. So if you don't go to such holy places, then we will be attracted by money-making propaganda by atheistic people who have no knowledge of spiritual matters. So sometimes, when I was in Bahrain working, so we used to have a lot of management training. So after every training, I used to sit and think, the management given in Bhagavad Gita is far higher. We do not have much knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Whatever with little knowledge we have, we can really understand. Now, for proper management, first there need to be self-management. Without that, what is their management? Once there is proper self-management, then everything can be managed nicely. So today we discussed about duty of householder. Then what is required is a combination of theoretical and practical knowledge. Then guidance of the spiritual master. Then importance of higher taste. Then importance of visiting holy places and importance of following. So many subject matter are covered by Srila Prabhupada in this single purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam class ki jai. Thank you to Mani Bhushan Prabhu for giving me this chance. Over to you, Mani Bhushan Prabhu. Mani Bhushan Prabhu is not there or is muted.
Sudarshan was there, Prabhu. Mani Bhushan Prabhu is not. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Thank you very much for such a practical class, Prabhuji. It was very essential for all the devotees, like we people are here in Middle East. So very useful class. Thank you very much. And I wish to just introduce Prabhuji is having a new project now. In South Vrindavan, there is 5 villas to be built. Any devotees are interested, they can book now. It is very limited. One is already sold. Another 4 villas are there. Just I am sharing the picture. Anybody is interested, you can contact Prabhuji for this. This is a very only 2 minutes walk from the temple, very near to the temple. So anybody is interested, please let me know. I will give Prabhuji's contact number and you can discuss with Prabhuji and you can confirm. This is the 5 villas Prabhuji is planning, and 1 is already booked and 4 numbers are available. So any devotees are interested, please come forward. And further to that, any doubts or any questions regarding today's class, you can ask. And also today Prabhuji will be giving one more class on Chaitanya Charitamrita in the evening 4 o'clock. I already shared the link and details. You can log in and you can hear that also. Any questions, you can come forward. Thank you.
I just want to just 1 minute. So I don't know. There may be Malayalis and other devotees here. So South Undavan is a temple-centered community project. So temple was inaugurated in 2016, and there are devotees staying around the temple and they are serving. So that's a concept. So now for further development of South Undavan, there is a committee by name South Undavan Development Committee, and this is the first project after forming that committee. Before that also, we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5 up to phase 6. We have developed South Undavan into 6 phases. Now we have around close to 100 devotees are having either plots or houses here. Now maybe close to around 15 houses are occupied. Some houses are built empty and some are plots. So it's developing very fast. And recently actually when we started the project, the temple land was in the name of some devotees and the temple was constructed on that land. And in December, the whole property is transferred in the name of ISKCON. Now it is officially ISKCON South Undavan, Kaiparambu Trishu. So if you have not seen South Undavan, you can contact me. Probably I can take some photos and videos and send to you. I do not think in anywhere in India there is such a project. I do not know any project of this kind. So it's good for devotees who have worked in the Middle East and other countries, and then they want to come back and stay in a place where they can continue more or less, or either the same way or more than that, how they are accustomed to. So this is such a place designed for that. So Manibhushan Prabhu can share my Indian mobile number. So any devotee wish to know about South Undavan or the villa, or just you want to know about the whole project, you can contact me. So any question from what we have discussed? If I know, I will answer, or I will send the answer to Manibhushan Prabhu after referring, and then he will pass to you. Okay. So I believe there is no question. So Manibhushan Prabhu.
So this is Namaste Prabhu. You can give vote of
Yes,
thanks to Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Udarakirti Prabhu, thank you very much for sparing your time and sincere efforts for us to making our morning blissful. The wonderful Sloka Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have listened from you before also. So thank you very much for your mercy, so that you are finding time for us. So now devotees have time to express our gratitude to Prabhu. Request everyone to unmute and chant Hare Krishna mantra 3 times to express our gratitude.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mani Bhushan
Krishna.
Prabhu. One more
Yes,
thing,
Roji.
Prabhu. Yesterday, one ex devotee, this couple, wife is here, now husband is in Chitlapalli, Adat. They wanted to start some activities there. So we need Prabhu's help. So we have to coordinate that.
Okay, okay, no problem.
So Prabhu,
We'll discuss, Roji.
yes, Prabhu, yes. Just want to, please. Yesterday only they called me.
Okay. Anybody is having any query on this villa project? You can take another 5 minutes. If
Okay,
Prabhuji can
Prabhu.
give the.
I saw it, Prabhu, just 5 cent land, that drawing I saw.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So it's five villas in a compound. So it's just not even hardly 2 minutes walk from the temple.
So the idea price, Prabhuji, respect.
Oh, its most economic price, it will be varying from 36 to 39. It depends on, land size slightly vary. So we want to keep it as low as possible. It will be around 38. Land plus villa, finished villa plus finished pavement plus water supply, compound wall,
Very good. Yeah, looks nice. Very, very
everything
good.
is part of it.
Very good. Thank you.
it is opposite the entrance side, Prabhu. I mean, that is east, I think. Entrance is
Uh,
good. No?
you came to South Vrindavan temple?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay,
I
as
think
you
during inauguration, I was there with Mani Bhushan Prabhu and some
okay, a
devotees.
lot of changes after inauguration. If you see the surroundings now, we have a wonderful entrance, beautiful entrance, this Dashavatar and everything.
Okay.
So as you come out of the main
Temple.
gate, so
Yes.
that time there was not even main gate, it was just open.
Correct. Yes.
So now we have the main gate. So you come out of the main gate, you turn right,
Okay.
walk for 2 minutes, it's just there.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Oh yeah, already handed over one devotee
Villa.
your contact number. He will be contacting you.
Okay.
Any other is there? I will come back to you.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much for your time and wonderful class. Once again, we will do Vaishnava Pranam and we will conclude. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, His Grace
Hare
Udarakirti
Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu.
ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Our 10th Canto detailed study will be there at 6:30 p.m. His Grace the
Chaitanya Chandra
Sri
Prabhu.
Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu will be giving the class today. So please join at 6:30. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare,
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Hare
Thank you for
Krishna.
all assembled devotees.
Thank you. Hare.